US employers announced over 60,000 layoffs in the month of March. Guys, this is up 25% from the month of February. But the real story here is why, and that's what people are not necessarily talking about. That's where people are throwing up the smoke and mirrors. And I know it's windy. I'm here checking in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But we just had to cover this story. It's too important. The answer here, guys, to why the layoffs are happening. AI was cited in 25% of layoff announcements. And it hits different sectors differently, and we're gonna cover that in a moment. But the real story of March, guys, was the big tech layoffs. We have Oracle laying off 30 to 45,000 employees. We covered that in detail here. You can go check out that video here. We covered Meta, talking about laying off 20% of their staff. Atlassian firing 10% of their staff. The reality, guys, is that companies have been leaning in to automation and AI for some time now, but it really started to hit the job boards in 2024. And I just want to kind of highlight the increasing rate of layoffs due to AI. If we go back to 2024, 2.5% of layoffs attributed to AI. 2025, that number doubled to 5% of layoffs attributed to AI. 2026, January and February, 10% of layoffs attributed to AI. And then in March, we had a huge jump at 25% of layoffs attributed to AI. Guys, I don't know what else to tell you. The data is clear. Companies are attributing more and more layoffs to artificial intelligence. And again, the big question you should be asking is, well, where do I fit in a world that is valuing AI over humans? And where does that leave me? I ask myself this question regularly. I live in the digital world, and I want to know where my sources of income are going to be at in this new AI world. How am I going to remain relevant, respected, and financially free? The reality, guys, is that if you're in big tech, if you're in software, if you are in the corporate white collar world, AI is absolutely coming. I find that just shocking that just a few years ago, 2.5% of layoffs related to AI, and now we're looking at 25% of layoffs related to AI. That is staggering. And here's the question for you. Do you think that trend is going to stop or slow down, or do you think that it's going to accelerate? Real talk, guys. Real talk. Now, it's not all bad news though, guys, because overall there was a net gain in jobs over March. 178,000 jobs were added in March. And this is coming off of a dismal February where over 100,000 jobs were a net gain, a net loss in February. So anyway, March was actually a good month for jobs. It just happened to be, if you were in a field that was highly subject to AI, it went pretty badly for you. So where are the big winners? Where are the losers? Let's look at it. Construction is the biggest winner, and that's probably due to the warm weather and, of course, data center and infrastructure construction. We've been talking about that. If you've been subbed to the channel, that should not be a surprise to you. We know that infrastructure investment is in the tens of billions of dollars, data centers, hundreds of billions of dollars globally, but the reality is that these companies want to build out these infrastructures. Why? So they can run more AI. AI changes everything, guys. I don't know what to tell you. For the people that say it doesn't, we'll talk to you in just a moment. So construction, the biggest winner at about 26,000 jobs gained. Transportation and warehousing, also a big gain at 21,000, which I think is interesting considering we saw Amazon and UPS laying off a lot of workers after the holiday rush. It seems like they may have laid off too many, and now we're starting to see these jobs reestablished. So by the way, guys, if you do get fired from your job, that is not the time to start kicking and screaming and breaking computers and laptops and stuff like that. You might want to hang tight, because what we are also seeing is that a lot of companies are, in some cases, overhiring and leaning too hard on AI. We saw that with Klarna. We're starting to see some signals with Salesforce as well, firing too many and then going back and hiring. So if you leave on good terms, there's a possibility you get hired back. Also worth noting, which we've covered in the past weeks, you might not get hired back as a W-2, you might get hired back as an independent contractor. So again, I think it's a good time to start setting up side streams of income, LLCs, there's tax benefits there. We'll cover that just in a minute. Hold that thought, we'll get back to that in just a minute. Jobless claims as a whole dropped, which seems good, and it really surprised forecasters. However, the forecasters are saying it's all doom and gloom, it's all downhill from here, but jobless claims dropped. However, that could be because people are leaving the job market and not filing for unemployment. They're finding other ways to make money. And again, I've been saying this for a while, that, and just to kind of complete this thought, leaning on one income and one job, to me, is very, very risky. The reality is most Americans have no emergency fund. Like, do you have 6 months? If you were to get fired, could you go 6 months without work? For most people, it's like, I don't even know if I could go 6 days. That's a very dangerous place to be in because the job market is just so volatile. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know everything that's gonna happen with AI. This stuff is absolutely crazy. It's unpredictable, it's very dynamic. And the only thing I know for sure is that we're gonna need to keep changing and adapting and learning new skills, because the problems of yesterday are not necessarily gonna be the problems that we need to solve tomorrow, right? Regardless, I think it's a really important time to be thinking about, how can I create side income? What's a side hustle? What are some new skills I could learn? What are the things that I'm seeing in my industry? And then relationships. What are the relationships that I can lean on and develop? Guys, I'm here in Fort Lauderdale. I'm staying in a penthouse condo for free because we know someone that knows someone. It's relationships matter a lot, guys. They matter a lot. More so now than perhaps any time in future. We talked about this in a video last year. The chances of you getting hired from an Indeed post or from submitting a resume are basically zero. I mean, there are people that have hundreds and hundreds of applications to get no follow-up. But if you know someone at a company, your chance of getting hired quadruple. They just increase magnanimously. And I will say that, at least for me personally, over the past year, I've had so many different projects I wanted to get involved with, but it's just hard. You only have so many minutes a day. I got family, we got all these different projects going on already. Guys, there has never been a better time to build, period, full stop. There's never been, over the past month, using Claude Cowork, it is unbelievable what is possible with Claude. While I'm working on one computer, Claude is just going to town on another computer. There's just, full stop, there's never been a better time to build. And will Claude Cowork get me 100% of the way there? No, but it'll get me 80% of the way there. Just the other day, guys, I'm working with a team member who's historically and still writes blogs for me and for clients. And I've gone back and forth with him. He's just written up a series of 4 different blogs. He's using AI, I can tell, I know. I don't hire people that don't use AI. In any event, I'm going back and forth with him saying, you need to adjust this, you need to adjust that. It's the same thing I do with AI. I'm using Claude Cowork to write blogs for clients too. And I do the same thing. I say, hey, clean up this format, clean up this format. It's faster, it's awesome. And honestly guys, some of the blogs that Claude Cowork is writing up are better than what I'm getting with employees. And what I found is that the better I am at giving Claude context on what it should be doing and what works, and then taking Claude and going back and referencing our database, looking at the analytics, especially for email, it just continuously iterates and gets better. Every week it gets better. So where am I going with this? Well, by using Claude Cowork, I can just start all these different projects I didn't have the bandwidth for in the past. And it's really shocking to me. And I think that 99% of people don't have a clue of what's happened when it comes to using these tools. So I do want to give myself a quick plug. Listen, I don't want to doom and gloom you. I don't want to leave you out in the lurch. I do have a workshop coming up very, very soon. Click the link in the bio, or click the link below. You can certainly join the workshop. I'd love to have you. There are still some spots left. The goal of the workshop is get you used to Claude, help you get it set up, and build an actual app by the end of a 2-day sprint, okay? And I just want to address a comment the other day that I thought was really a really good comment, but I do want to address it. And the comment was something to the effect of, why do I feel like all this is just an ad? Why do I feel like all you're doing is selling stuff? Because over the last 8 months, guys, I haven't really advertised or promoted anything on the channel, but here's the thing. I don't want to come on here and doom and gloom and just talk about the end of the world and offer no solutions. I'm a solutions-oriented guy. And the opportunity to co-host this workshop with someone who is awesome came across my lap, and I said, okay, let's do it, let's run it. And I think it's an awesome solution. It's gonna be great. It's gonna help me level up. It's gonna help members of the community level up. This might not be a fit for everyone, and I get that. I do not plan on leaving you out. There will be more offers, there will be more ways to help you level up. Free ways, some will be free, some will be paid, all of that and above. But I don't want to leave any man behind. That is my commitment to you. I feel strongly about that. I want to help basically every man in the world stay relevant, respected, and financially free during the AI revolution, because that is what we're going through right now, guys. This is going to be, I'm 43. This is going to be the biggest, I think, transformational phase of my life. I think that's what it's going to be. You may agree, you may disagree. You can put it in the comments below. But I think we're going through something that's very special. Our kids are going to look back and be like, wow, you lived through that. I lived through the internet, which was big. And this is the AI revolution. It really does change everything. And once I wish I could help people understand what's happened with Claude. It's really shocking. And just by the way, I mentioned this yesterday, I just want to reiterate it, that there's a lot of people that kind of say, well, AI is a scam and it's not real and it's all crap. It doesn't really work really well. Guys, anybody that I know and respect that's in tech and in software and really operating high level, I don't know one person who says that. Every single one of them says, AI has completely transformed the way that I run my business. It completely transformed the way I write code, the way I update my website, the way I hire people, every single one. So, I'm not saying that randos on the internet don't have any value to bring, but I trust the people that I trust and know more than the randos on the internet that are just saying, oh, it's all bull crap. Guys, just be careful. We don't, again, you don't have to go through my workshop. You don't have to, upend your whole life, but if you're not learning this stuff now, to me, that's a very risky spot to be in. It could be that AI doesn't turn out to be as powerful as it could, but that's a risky bet to take. Betting that AI is all smoke and mirrors and in a few years it's just gonna fade into nothing, that is a risky bet to take because it's very likely that it goes the other way. That's my stance. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna get back to work. Just have an awesome day. Have a happy Easter. He is risen, and I hope to see you in the workshop. If not, there will be more valuable stuff to help you, because again, I don't want to sit here and doom and gloom you and say it's the end of the world. The world is changing, but there's a lot of opportunities, guys, and I want those opportunities for you, because I want you to be relevant, respected, and financially free during the AI revolution. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you later. Peace.